not an easy process to predict how much food we get for this many people. I was reminiscing that the first banquet that I hosted here at Potomac Falls when I took the job, we had 30 band kids. So we sat over in the corner over there and we just had burgers, and everybody was just talking quietly, and then we all went home. So things have gotten a little bit bigger, and I certainly appreciate the hard work that was put in this evening for tonight's meal. Let's give a round of applause to all the parents that helped out. I'd like to recognize the staff that worked with the marching band this year. The contributions of our staff members that help us throughout the season, our instructional staff and creative staff include, and if I can ask you to stand as I call your name out, we're going to start with Michelle Moses. Let's see if I pronounce this correctly. Denny Dialelio. Joke is our football game announcer could never hit it, no matter how I spelled it phonetically. Chuck Schmidt. Taylor Jeffrey. The one that's put up with me for the longest time. We also had some associate staff members. I'll give all three of them, then we can applaud for them. Sam Durgan, Arthur Wang, and Brett Levely. Our team works tirelessly to conceptualize, design, teach, and rehearse the show. The amount of time they dedicate is frankly not compensated, even half of what they bring to this group. I congratulate them on their dedication, their hard work on behalf of the kids. Please help me thank our staff for giving them a well-earned round of applause. Be calling out band members by sections and recognizing each section. I'll share with the parents some idea of what role each section played in the show. I hope that all of you have had a chance to see the show in one form or another. For those of you that have not seen the show this year, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, we did a 70s show, which included music from Alice Cooper, Let's Go Here, Chicago, Elton John. And the show was extremely well received because the musicians and the guard members put together such a nice production. So I'm going to mention each section. As we come up, I'll mention what role the section played. So we're going to start out with percussion and pit, please. As you might imagine, the percussion section of the folks that hit stuff. The pit was the electronic island that was out there and included percussion instruments, electric bass, a synthesizer, sound system, drum set, all sorts of things. We had 3 different drum set players. Wave if you were one of our drum set players. Okay. And in addition to being in the show, these guys also do the cadence work that moves us from point A to point B, like at the beginning of football games, getting into the stadium, that sort of stuff. So let's have a round of applause for percussion. Although not intentional, the next group also likes to hit things. Guard. Gather 80% of the information in life through our eyes. The other four senses are, they take a second to see to all this. So you might have noticed that in September, the first football game, only 2 weeks after we had started Banquet, you might have noticed the guard was a little bit unfocused in their presentation of work. Every time the show went along, every time, it got clearer and better. And it was just wonderful. At the end of the season, I was looking forward to such an awesome show until the wind picked up at Patriot High School. And you could see these young ladies and these folks grimacing as the wind took their flag from the left and over to the right. And they struggled mightily and contributed wonderfully. And they also put up with a lot of pressure from me to get things cleaned up. So guard members, thank you so much. If you'd like a little empathy training, pick up a flag and a pole on a windy day and throw it over your head. You'll end up wearing it. Or you can do an airplane or a rifle or a saber or some other one, but it's all good. Every band has some students that have egos. Wow, we're already with trombones and saxophones. Just all of them. As you might imagine, when you're doing Chicago Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the arranger, the guy sitting in his office in May and June typing is thinking, okay, jazz, what instruments do I need to highlight? Saxophones? Check. Trombones? Check. Oh, their heads are getting so big. The saxophones and trombones contributed mightily to this year's show, particularly because of the show that I wrote. I congratulate them on being able to support really all the melodic material we did, and in fact, we even threw in a couple of feature spots in there, especially the trombones. Sam did a great job on that solo. Section, while we know that a couple are graduating, there's a lot of great talent in here, so I've got to figure out how to use that next year, and I'm looking forward to that challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, the saxophones and the trombones. All right, this group will be a little bit larger. Trumpets and horns. I have to say, I think that this group is probably the most fashionably dressed so far. Trevor, you have to turn around though. There we go. Okay, good. Don't face the cakes. Trumpets and horns. Obviously, a marching band relies a great deal on brass instruments, and as you can see from this murderer's row of brass players, it's a pretty powerful section that we have here. 10 trumpets and 7 horns. And they were pretty much up front and playing most of the show, doing most of the melodic material, and providing a lot of the support to the show that made sense to the audience. Everybody else was pretty much backing them up. So ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause for the audience. Just an absolute wonderful group when it comes to musical performance is the quality of the piccolos and clarinets. Or something, it was the fact that we have woodwinds as a part of the ensemble. There are some marching bands in the state of Virginia that actually don't allow woodwind players to be a part of their marching band. I can't understand for the life of me what those people are thinking. Woodwinds are an important component to the show, and what they add, although you may not sit there and go, what a great clarinet feature that was, if we took the flutes, the piccolos, and the clarinets out of the show, you would immediately notice how much duller the show would sound to the average listener. They contribute so importantly to the show, and I am so thankful I get to work with such great woodwind players at the school. Ladies and gentlemen, the piccolos and the clarinets. The euphoniums and tubas. Tuba and euphonium line in this marching band this year. 7 sousaphones and 3 absolutely wonderful euphonium players. If you were to go, on Facebook, we have a band director chat area where band directors do nerdy stuff and talk to each other. And I tell them, our band's 90 kids and we've got 7 sousaphones, and they want to buy my sousaphone players. They're offering to have a group in Missouri or something. They don't have enough money. Sorry, I'm not selling. I'm sorry. The music doesn't work without all the roots to the chords, all the bottom to the band, and these 10 folks have done such a wonderful job in support of a very important bass line, the rock show. And And I will also admit now to the sousaphones, you have harder music in my band than you will ever see in college if you march with the Marching Bull Dukes. You're getting harder work now, and you guys are pulling it off. And the euphoniums, I rewrote your parts a couple times just to make it harder, and it took it. So thank you so much to the tubas and the euphoniums. And now for some folks that don't actually go out on the field and do stuff choreographed. That's the manager. Two out of three, and unfortunately, you guys couldn't make it this evening. It's good to know. Managers are an incredibly patient group of people. They put up with me handing them keys and telling them to run back to my office to get a widget of some sort, and then when they get back, I go, "Where were you?" Because I needed you to take care of something else. These are the folks who try to anticipate what our needs are, which for me is virtually impossible. And they put up with all sorts of last-minute information. They work very hard loading the trailer and unloading the trailer, taking care of things. And we, frankly, we benefit tremendously from the help of our managers. And they don't get to take a bow at the end of the show. They're busy pushing the podium out of the way for Crocodile to play. So I would like to take this opportunity to say how much I appreciate the hard work the managers do this year. It's really got everybody? Drum majors. Rachel and Kevin were selected at last year's May concert, announced as this year's drum majors. I think Kevin probably had a sense that he was going to be successful in his audition to come back and do a second year, and has done an absolutely wonderful job. And I think Rachel was a little bit of a deer in the headlights kind of, what have I got myself into? And I am absolutely astounded at how wonderfully not only Rachel has risen to the occasion, but also how well these two have worked together to team up to lead the band through a show that involved a number of tempos and a number of orchestrational challenges, and all sorts of other issues, and people running down and coming and jumping on the podium and coming off, all the weird stuff. The drum majors in our program do not simply do a choreographed hand-waving kind of process. They're actually involved in managing the show in real time. And that's a little different than some other schools where it's all sort of automaton system. So I congratulate both our drum majors for an outstanding season, and thank you for leading the band so well. Asking students to come forward who have been in the program. This would be their second season because they have a letter. They get a letter for their second. So, I'm going to read the list of names. If for some reason I've missed somebody, please come forward, let me know, and take your place in line. But this is the list of students who I believe have completed 2 seasons with the marching band program and are eligible to letter. And that would be Declan Blodgett, Lillian Kelly, Megan Dawson, Grace Dykes, Yosef Manawi, Katie Gregory, Andy Hart, Sydney Hibbs, Katie Kelly, Kirsten Lemke, Justin Lemma, Molly Lum, Victoria Laughlin, Andrea Oshowski, Connor Patton, Logan Reese, Alex Reed, Ben Reed, William Strickler, and Aman Usmani. Kaylee Hooper, come on down. The confusion is because guard gets seasons counted, including winter guard. So there's fall guard, winter guard. You did winter guard, didn't you? This is your second season of guard. Lettering in band after 2 seasons is an indication that these people are willing to put up with me. That in and of itself is worthy of recognition, I think. But it also is indicative of people who are prepared now, after having had 2 seasons, are now prepared to demonstrate some leadership qualities, to start taking the reins as we have some seniors that will be graduating. Knock on wood. I know who you are. These folks are going to be filling those shoes, taking over those roles, so we're counting on these people to move forward with the program. So I congratulate them on putting up with me for 2 seasons, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, our lettering members. Letters to you at the end of tonight's meal. I have the letter